Listen, the idea that we have with my team is to have certainty when we attack and to put doubt on the opposition. So we had a clear plan about the way we wanted to attack. We struggled at certain moment because it could have been better, but what we did and what they did, my players, in terms of recognize when to attack quick and when to slow down the play, has been amazing, because we were able to play between the line, but we were able also to play behind the line. And that's why when I talk about giving doubt to the opposition, this is the most important things. So we have to be unpredictable, and I think that's why we are able to have a good game like tonight.
Wilfried, I don't know if you know this, but you're the first black coach to win MLS Cup. What does that mean to you?
Like I said, I'm really proud of that. Really, really proud of that, because it's been a long journey to be a coach. It was about courage, it was about patience. But at the same time, I'm not happy about this situation, because I know that I'm not the only good black with a lot of competence. I know that there is a lot of people like me. I know that MLS try to help everyone, but this is not only MLS, this is in the world. So for me, yes, if I can inspire, yes, but what I want to tell also to say is this is not normal.
All right, Herc, so many angles to dissect the Columbus Crew and their amazing run to MLS Cup. Let's start with the manager, Wilfried Nancy, specifically the comments that he makes there at the end of the interview about being the first black head coach to win an MLS Cup. He's proud, but in his words, not very happy. What'd you make of the comments?
Yeah, man, when you listen to it, it really puts things in perspective. I mean, he's absolutely right. He can't be the only good black coach. He can't be the only one to be successful or to be a good tactician. Certainly there are more out there. They just haven't had the opportunities. And I started thinking about this. And in our world, in our bubble, it's not just Major League Soccer. When's the last time you've seen a black coach in Liga MX? I can't think of one, let alone a successful one. It makes you put in perspective just how few opportunities are going around to black coaches, and it sucks that we're sitting here talking about race after this man tactically just outclassed everybody in the playoffs, including Steve Cherundolo, who's a very good coach, gave him his first loss in playoff history, or Steve Cherundolo's first loss in his playoff history, and we're sitting here talking about this instead of just how good his team was. So, you know, it's a situation that doesn't make me feel good. I'm very happy and proud for Wilfried Nancy, but I think he's absolutely right in his comments.
Yeah, it's a sign of progress, but not enough progress, right? If you go back to 2019, which isn't all that long ago, it's 4 years ago, there was only one black coach in MLS then. It was Robin Fraser, right? And since then, we've had everything. We had the pandemic, the George Floyd tragedy, all of the social movement that came out of that. We had the Black Players for Change. We had all of the visuals that we saw at the MLS's back tournament. And here we are in 2023. And yes, Wilfried Nancy is the first black head coach to win an MLS Cup. He's also the only black head coach in MLS in 2023, Herc. So here we are at the end of the season, 4 years later, and there's not progress. So we hear about all these initiatives, but at the end of the day, actions speak louder than words. So MLS may be ahead of places, like you mentioned, Liga MX, but there's still obviously plenty more to go. And for the owners out there, look at what Wilfried Nancy did. This is a guy who, and he talks about his journey, this is a guy who isn't a product of some, MLS opportunity here, some diversity and inclusion initiative. This is a guy who was with the Montreal Academy, Herc, before they were in Major League Soccer. And only because of kind of chaos at the beginning of 2021, when Thierry Henry leaves right before the season, does Wilfried Nancy even get the opportunity in Montreal. So there's a lot of luck that led to this great coach getting this opportunity. I think, unfortunately, for black coaches in the United States, and specifically when it comes to MLS, you kind of got to be lucky just to get your shot, and that's the unfortunate thing. Aside from Wilfried Nancy, Herc, as we focus in on the Columbus Crew, why do you think they are champions of MLS? Why do you think here we are on the Monday after MLS Cup saying the 2023 MLS Cup champions are the team out of Columbus?
Right, because they weren't the best team in the league, let alone the best team in the East. They actually beat the two best teams in the East to get here. They beat Orlando, number 2, and they beat Cincinnati, number 1 in the East and the best in the league. But it's how they did it. And if you go back to the Atlanta game, there is a tactical change, or personnel change, I should say, for Wilfried Nancy that kind of sets them in motion and going, and that's the 4-2 loss versus Atlanta, and then you turn that into a 4-2 win in Columbus versus Atlanta, and it's just a little minute changes like Mo Farsi on the right-hand side for Julian Gressel. It's the decision to stay brave, to trust the process like we've heard all along. It's the back line for me that really did it in this game. We talk about the front pressure. We talk about the offensive star power that they have. Cucho Hernandez, Diego Rossi when they lost Lucas Alarayana, Christian Ramirez from the bench, that type of player. No, it was the back line and the line of five that not only played through lines, as Wilfried Nancy said in that video, but played behind lines. And what I mean by that is you would see the center backs stepping into forward positions, not only in the midfield, but in the final third. Yaya Bo, I thought, was the best player on the field, especially in that first half. I thought he was unlucky not to get more than one goal. He could have had 2 goals, a goal that was cleared off the line by Chiquis Palacios in the second half of LAFC. They were that good. They just overpower you in between the lines. They force the line of confrontation from their opponents to be much further up the field than they would like. They bypass those defenders, and then it's just, boom, playing the way they know how to play in between those lines with the players that they have. I thought LAFC were very fortunate in the first half not to go down by more than 2 goals. It could have been 3-0, 4-0. And ironically, LAFC pulls one back, kind of playing the same way. It's Murillo, the center back, who steps into the offensive third and provides Denny Bouanga with that play, but they overwhelm you with quality in that final third.
There's a lot of teams that have won in this league and kind of won ugly. I think what sets Columbus apart is they won with a really attractive style. For me, that second goal, the Amundsen pass into Yabo, that's your left center back and a back three to your effectively left wing back. Do you want to call him a left midfielder? If you want to call it a 3-4-3, that's fine. But I mean, if that doesn't embody how Wilfried Nancy wants to play, that he's got a left center back that can not only hit that pass, but has the guy making the run who knows he's got to make that run in Yabo. I mean, this to me, and we're seeing it right here, is just an absolute thing of beauty. They played really good soccer. It got better throughout the year. And this Columbus team, I think, Herc, now seems set up for big things in the future, right? If we talked about it last week, they're a very smart team, middle of the pack spending, got rid of Salazar, knew what to do in the middle of the season, had Diego Rossi lined up to make the move from Turkey, had Christian Ramirez lined up in January to make the move from Scotland. This is a team that knows what they're doing when it comes to player acquisitions. And by the way, Wilfried Nancy, first season with Montreal, they were 10th. They were second in his second season. I mean, if Columbus just won it all in his first season, what's next from here for the Crew? I feel like they could be a dynasty in these.
Well, it's funny because when you think about the big players in Major League Soccer, you don't think about the Columbus Crew. But if you look at historically, when it comes to winning titles, they're now the third winningest organization in Major League Soccer history. I mean, you're talking about the LA Galaxy, DC United, Columbus Crew. And it's the way they're doing it. Listen, this should make Toronto FC fans feel very, very angry, infuriating, because they had in Tim Bezbatchenko, the guy who pretty much wrote the book when it comes to roster spending in Major League Soccer and roster construction, and now he's doing the books for a team like Columbus Crew and making them successful. This team, how successful they are, the chance that they took on Wilfried Nancy, that's Tim Bezbatchenko. The new stadium, the saving the crew, hashtag save the crew, everything they've been through. This is a new team, a new organization, and we could very well be looking at a new dynasty. Absolutely.
You know what else has changed for the Crew, Herc, since you mentioned Save the Crew? The ownership. How about Anthony Precourt, huh? Sells the team in 2019. All they've done since then is win 2 MLS titles. And if you're a Crew fan, you have a more expensive stadium than the folks down in Austin that is much closer to downtown than the folks down in Austin. And you've got 2 titles that the folks down in Austin don't have. So Anthony Precourt, my oh my. I told you last week I didn't know who should feel worse about Columbus Crew's success. Joey Saputo. I think Joey Saputo and now Anthony Precourt, 2 owners who are looking at what Columbus does and must just be face-palming.
Yeah, let me separate the Austin situation from Anthony Precourt. Anthony Precourt deserves all the hate he can get here from Columbus Crew, but the good fans of Austin have done something well, and I'm happy for Austin and what it's become. But this is Anthony Precourt. I think we're both set on that. This man wanted the team gone at the expense of the death of a great franchise. He would have put that team in Austin, but it's not the people of Austin's fault. I will say that.
All right, all right. We're making friends, not enemies here on Futbol
Well, I'm
Americas.
just
You
saying.
love Austin. That
I've
was
never
an
been to Austin. I'm just
anti-Anthony
saying.
pre-court rant, just to be clear.